In general, we have two types of pages: static and dynamic. So, static web page, you might be aware, it provides only the content which is used for viewing. It is only for viewing purpose. In order to share the information as a resource over a web page has been introduced. So, web page is introduced to share information as a resource over a web. And static web pages are pages which are static in nature, which doesn't provide user interaction, only for the content viewing purpose. And coming to the dynamic web pages, these are the web pages which are meant for the user interaction, like social networking websites. You can see mailing websites, any other websites. So in addition to this, you also have client-side technology and server-side technology. And server-side technology. Okay. Coming to the client-side technology, we'll go for HTML plus JavaScript. What is this client-side technology? For example, what is a client? I can say client as a browser. Server as web server. Whenever a user requests from the client, in general, client will request and server will respond. So what happens whenever a client requests for, let us say, gmail.com, the request is carried out to the web server, and web server will process the request. Sorry, I press, let us say I am opening the browser and entering the gmail.com and pressing the enter. Whenever I press enter, the request is going and hitting the server. Server will find the request and send the related page to the client for processing. What does it mean? See here, if the website is developed using the client-side technology, whenever I am pressing gmail.com and clicking on enter, it goes and hits the server. Server will respond and gives the response to the client for processing. It means the related page is being processed by the client. So the whole processing is happening on the client. Then again, after a login page is landed onto the browser, you'll be entering the username and password and again pressing on enter. Whenever again you press enter, the username and password, the sign in button code is also being processed on the client because it is a client side technology. For the client side technology, the processing of the business logic, the processing of the code, processing of the page, everything happens on the client, due to which we have a potential drawbacks. What are they? Hackers may hack the code, malfunction the code, misuse the code, tamper the code. Anything can happen because the business logic which is important for the organization is given to the client for processing, and anybody can tamper the code. So to avoid such kind of malfunctioning, they have come up with the server-side technology. Coming to the server-side technology, whenever I press gmail.com and press enter, it goes and hits the server. Server will now process your request. The processed request is sent back to the client only for viewing. Again, when the user is pressing the username and password, clicking on sign in button, again the username and password is sent to the server for processing. On the server, the username and password are getting processed. If he is a valid user, he will be displayed. He will be navigated to the next page. Otherwise, he will be displayed with username or password is invalid. So such kind of differences you can find between the client side technology and server side technology. Okay, next. Coming to server side technology, we have ASP, active server pages, JSP, Java server pages, PHP, and ASP.NET. So these are all server side technology. Now we are discussing the ASP.NET. ASP.NET supports two types of programming languages. Two types of programming models. What are they? First one is inline programming model. Second one is code behind programming model. Coming to inline programming model, what you can see like here, design and code are combined to a single page. That is, it is a default. The extension of the ASP.NET web page is .aspx. Coming to code behind programming model, design is separated from the coding. Like a design will be default.aspx and the coding will be default.aspx.cs. So if the programming language is C#, if the programming language is VB, .VB you'll be getting. So there lies the beauty of the programming models. Like your inline programming model, design as well as code is available in the same page. And if you want to write a C# code for business logic, you can write under the script tag of script tag under the default.aspx. Whereas here, two separate files. This is called as code behind programming model. Okay, I would like to design a simple web form now. Let's check file, new website. File, new website. ASP.NET empty website we have to take. Let's go ahead. Online method demos. Under demos, I would like to create a new folder day 10. Sorry, day 11. On the day 11, I would like to store my new website. Let's give the website name web demo 1. I'm saying. Please listen here. I'm while taking a new website. Selecting the language as C Sharp and template as ASP.NET empty website. The name I have given, and we can say OK. As you have selected ASP.NET empty website, as you have selected ASP.NET empty website, you can see only a page web.config will be available for you if you have taken empty website. The web.config file is an XML configuration file. You can have one or more web configuration files per website based on the requirement and size of the website. And also this is the application level configuration file, and you can also have one more configuration file called as machine config file, machine.config file. It's also an XML configuration file, but per machine one file is allowed. Okay, so that's a machine level configuration file. We have nothing to do with it. Now, as of now, for this website, I would like to add a web form. So when your web demo 1 is highlighted, go to the website and add a new item. After adding a new item, see, add. So whenever you say add, a default.asp will be added to your website. And you can see here at the rate page. You see here you have two views: design view, sorry, source view. This is a design view. Design view, you will not be able to see anything. Coming to source view, you will be able to see the code part. And split view is a combination of design and source. Here, every ASP.NET web page will start with the @page directive. What is it? @page directive. And language is C Sharp. Auto event variable is equal to true is nothing but whenever the button click event is fired, whenever the drop down list selection change is fired, will go to that event and execute the event for that purpose. Right. If you can see here, as I am saying, ASP.NET is server-side technology. You can see every tag, head tag, you have run it is equal server attribute. Form tag, you have run it is equal server attribute, right? Even if you take a button or text box, every control will be having a run it is equal server attribute. It resembles the processing of that particular tag will happen only on the server. It's a server-side processing, simply indicating. So if you go to the design now, I would like to design my web page by taking controls. And as you have seen Windows applications, even web applications also, you have a toolbox which is loaded with various controls. If you take a button, I have taken a button. I would like to move this button to the center of the screen. I would like to move the button to the center of the screen. But I am not able to, right? See? ASP.NET Design View doesn't allow you to move the controls freely in the design area. For that reason, you can go for the other way of designing. So let's go to the table, insert table. I would like to insert a table. And I would like to design a login page, let us say. So take 4 rows, 2 columns, say okay. Here I'm saying username, password. Oh, just a second. I would like to leave the first row. I would like to merge the first row. Select the first row, right click, modify, merge cells. And here I am writing login details. So for better visibility of this text, select the text, go there, change its font size to extra large, make it bold, change its font color, say OK. Later here I'm changing this username, password, and sign in. Fine. Select, go to properties, style, table properties. You can see under that style, just click on the dotted button. You will be able to see the modify style window under which you have a position, under which absolute. See, right? Yeah. This is a where you will be able to move the table to the required location after setting the modify style to absolute. Fine. And see, if you go to right click, go to text box, you don't want the text entered into a text box to be visible because it's a password field, right? So go to text mode and make it as password. Fine. I would like to add a page, website, add new item. I'm saying here home. Home. I'm adding a home.aspx. After adding here, I'm saying welcome to the world of online training. Fine. This is a home page, right? Here, what I would like to do, let's whenever user clicks on the sign in button, yes, if text box one dot text is equal to admin and text box 2 dot text is equal to admin. Response dot redirect home dot asp. Fine. But here one correction, I would like to take a label. That take properties is else I can say label 1.text is equal to invalid username or password. Right? So can you see the login details? The login page. What I have taken response.redirect, right? Response.redirect. Whenever I'm giving a invalid username and password and clicking on sign in, it's saying invalid username or password. And if I'm giving a valid username and password and clicking on sign in, what's happening? If you can observe this redirection, please once again. I'm giving username and password. You can see the URL here. It's a default.aspx and I'm clicking on sign in. You're navigated to home.aspx and the page is being displayed is home.aspx. Okay? Yeah. By this, what you came to know? The response.redirected is a redirection used for redirection on both client side as well as server side. It means on the server side also the page is being redirected and on the client side also you are able to visualize. So it is used for client side and server side redirection. Next step, it is used for both client side and server side redirection. It is used to redirection used for redirection within the website and outside the website. Outside the website, like say within the website, like if you have hundreds of pages, you can navigate to any of the pages. You have no restriction. And if you want to redirect from Gmail to some Facebook, within the websites also it's possible for the redirection. Next, server dot transfer. Yes, server dot transfer. Even the server dot transfer, it is used for, yes, let us look into then text here. I'm closing it. Let's go to the website again. Let's rewrite the code here. Instead of response.redirect, server.transfer, home.aspx. Right? Let's run. I'm giving the username here and also password. If you can look here, please look here in the browser. I have default.aspx, right? And whenever I'm clicking on sign in, yes, I'm navigated to the home.aspx, but the URL is not changing, right? URL is default.aspx. If you want to hide the redirection page details to the client, to the user, you can go for the server.transfer. And server.transfer is used for only server redirection, server side redirection. On the client, it is not reflecting, right? It is used for redirection within the website. Only within the website it is used. And when you also have server.execute. Server.execute. Let's go for the server.execute. Server.execute in.aspx. I'm entering username and password. You can see here default.aspx. I'm clicking on sign in. You can see your URL is not changed, and also the home page output is combined with the current page output. Getting? So the redirection page output is being displayed in the same page. Server.execute, it is similar to server.transfer in terms of URL navigation, and it is used for, it combines the redirection page output with the current page. Okay, let me save it. Okay, let's go ahead. Hope you have understood everything. So I would like to design a big. I would like to go for a bigger design, little bigger comparatively. Add new item. Let's go for default to.aspx. In the default to.aspx design, in the design I would like to go and insert a table. Insert table. I would like to take 11 rows, 2 columns. Fine. Here I would like to say username and the text box. Password, text box, confirm password, and I would like to take gender. For gender, I would like to take 2 radio buttons. Yes. Later, date of birth. For the date of birth, I'm taking a text box, a image button, and a calendar control. And a calendar control. See, what is my intention? I would like to assign a image calendar image to the calendar image button, and whenever user clicks on the calendar image, this calendar will be displayed. So that way I would like to go for, right? Next, mobile number, email ID, no issues. Later, country. For that country, I would like to take drop down list, and also I would like to take a label here. Take properties. Later, finally, I would like to take upload resume. Here, go to the toolbox. You can find the file upload control, right? I'm taking the file upload control. In addition to that, a button and a label. A button, I would like to say upload button, and whenever a user selects and click on the upload button, the file will be uploaded, and uploaded information will be displayed into the label. Finally, a submit button. Okay, here let's change the text of radio buttons. So basically, let's run and understand the requirements first. I'm running. If you can look here, you can look here. I'm entering the password and confirm password. See, they are visible, right? I don't want them to be visible. First requirement. Coming to second requirement, I don't want these radio buttons. See, I'm selecting the male radio button and I'm selecting female. Both of them are getting selected. I don't want both of them to be selected. Either of them to be selected, right? Okay. So let's go for these two requirements. Later, we'll go for the next. Right click on the text box 2, go to its properties. Sorry, it's text box 3. Numbering is slightly different. Go for password. Right click text box 4, go to properties, change the text mode to password. Fine. Later, go to the radio button 1, properties. Text mode. You will have a group name, right? So give the common group name for two radio buttons in order to group them under one category. Gender. Gender. Fine. Let's see once. I'm giving the password, it's not visible obviously, and I'm selecting male, and if I'm selecting female, immediately male is unchecked. Can you see? Right. Later, when my page is loaded, I don't want this calendar to be visible. When the page is loaded, I don't want this calendar to be visible, and when an image button is clicked, I want the calendar to be visible. For that reason, I want to assign an image to the image button. So let's go to the Solution Explorer, right click and create a folder images, where I can have my set of images in one folder. A website can have n number of images, so instead of throwing them directly in the website, I would like to segregate them under a folder called as images. Let's take images. After taking images folder, we go to images folder, we copy that desired image, calendar, and paste it to the images folder. You can see the calendar, right? Now I would like to assign it to the image URL. Images, calendar image, save. Fine. When the page is loaded, I don't want the calendar to be visible, right? So double click on the empty area, the page load event is fired for you. And in the page load event, I am writing if page dot is postgrad is equal to false. If the page is not posted back, okay, then make the calendar visible as false. Fine. And when the button is clicked, I want the calendar one dot visible is equal to 2. Let's run and see. If you can see here, when the page is loaded, you are not able to see the calendar control, and when you're clicking on the calendar image, calendar is visible, right? But if you can observe the difference here, you are navigating. Oh, you are easily able to navigate, right? And if I select any date, the selected date should be displayed in the text box, and calendar should go invisible. For that reason, we have a event in the calendar control. Go to the design, double click on the calendar control, the calendar event, you will be able to see selection date calendar one or selection change, right? So what has to happen in the text box file, the date has to be displayed. Text box y.text is equal to calendar one dot selected date dot to short date string. Later, calendar one dot visible is equal to false. Right? Calendar will go invisible. Let's go and check whether it's happening. I'm clicking on calendar calendar is getting displayed. I'm navigating. Yes, I'm able to navigate. I'm selecting the date, able to select, and the calendar is gone and the selected date is displayed here, right? Okay. Next is a mobile number. Okay, you can see email ID also. Okay. Now in the in the country drop down list, I want to have a set of countries. Right click, properties. You can see you have a items column. Can you see? Here I would like to add items. Add. Let's add I would like to add some set of countries. Fine, so oh, this is a slight change here. Edit items again. Here the first item I would like to have a select. It's no value. Later I would like to give it. Fine. If you run, see, can you see list of countries? But whenever I select a country, the selected country has to be displayed in the label, just beside that, right? In the design I have placed. For that reason, so let's run this website in the debugging mode. Control F5. Okay. It keeps running. Let's make the changes, save them, and accordingly. Here you have a property called as auto postback. See, can you see? Enable auto postbacks. On enable auto postback, see, this is the first thing you have to do. Whenever you are making enable auto postback as true, the event you can see drop down list one dot selection change will be fired, and under this selection change I am going to write the code. Label one dot text is equal to drop down list one dot text. That's it. Let's experience the difference now. Sorry, I'm habituated to that. Let's close it. Not a problem. I have saved it, right? Let me save it. Save. After saving, go there. Refresh. The changes are updated now. Is from the drop down list select country. Can you see? The selected country is visible there. Fine. So that way the auto postback of the drop down list will work. Next, finally, I would like to go for the upload button. See, what is my intention? If the file is not selected and user is clicking on the upload button, it has to say, please select a file to upload. Okay, and if the file is selected, it has to be uploaded. Where it has to be uploaded, I would like to have a custom folder here. Let's create the uploads folder. In uploads folder, into this uploads folder, I would like to upload. If file upload one dot as file, If it is having file, you can say file upload one dot save as. I want to save as. Where I want to save on the server machine. So server dot, say I will be uploading from the client here, and the resume will be uploaded onto the Naukri website, right? Naukri server. How it will happen this way? Server dot map path. I'm mapping the path of the server to the client into the folder uploads slash plus file upload one dot file name. That's it. If you want, you can break it. I'm breaking it. Right? File upload one dot save as. Where you want to save? On the server with the folder uploads. You want to save which one? With the same name of your file upload, of the file which you are being uploaded. If it is not selected, I'll say label 1, label 2 dot text. So label 2 is equal to select the file to upload. Fine. Let's see now. Let's run. Here I'm not selecting any file, I'm clicking on upload. What's happening? It's saying please select a file to upload. If I'm selecting a file, I'm selecting a simple file, say open, and click on upload. Oh, it will not upload because I haven't written the code related to. It will upload, but it will not show the message saying that file uploaded. So here write label 2.text is equal to file uploaded. File uploaded, right? Let's rerun. I'm not selecting any file, clicking on upload. Please select a file to upload. Now choose a file, and I'm selecting a file. Say open. Click on upload. Whenever you click on upload, it will say file uploaded. If you close and come back to the Solution Explorer, refresh uploads folder, you'll be able to see the uploaded file. Right? Likewise, you can perform the file uploads. So that's all about the few topics today. So in addition to this design, I would like to continue with the validation controls. So I would like to validate whether the user entered values are appropriate or not. For that reason, you can perform validations at two levels: server side validation, client side validation. And here client side validation I would like to discuss. Sorry, server side, ASP.NET validation controls are providing both server side as well as client side validations. If you can go to the toolbox, under the validation tab, you can see the validation controls. These are all the validation controls, right? And here I would like to add one more column to my design, present design. So let's go to the modify, insert, sorry, insert column to right. Column is inserted here. And in that cell, I would like to take a required field validator. Required field validator. If user is not entering any username, and clicking on submit, it has to say username is mandatory, right? For that reason, right click on the required field validator, go to its properties. You have one important property to be set. What is that? Control to validate. Which control it has to validate? You have many controls, right? Many text boxes, many drop down lists. But which control it has to validate? That you have to mention. That is text box 2. What error message you would like to display? Username is mandatory. Username is mandatory. And here 4 color. So red for better visibility. These are the important properties to set. Now let's run and experience the difference. Run. You're not entering any username and clicking on submit button. What's happening? Username is mandatory this day. And if you're entering some value and clicking on submit, no error, right? Similarly, let's go for the password and confirm password. Let's go for the password and confirm password. Here, compare validator here. Let's right click on the compare validator, go to its properties. Under the compare validator, you have a control to compare, text box 3, control to validate, text box 4. So these two, you are comparing the text box 3 with the text box 4. That's it. And what is the error message you want to display? Invalid, password and confirm password doesn't match. And 4 color. These are the two properties I'm setting. Let's now run and see. I'm running it. Control F5. Let's save and refresh. Yeah, I'm entering the password. I'm entering the unmatched password. Can you see? If I'm entering the matching password, no error. Okay, let's go. And also, I would like to validate the date here. I had a calendar control, right? Date of birth. Whether the user is entering a valid date or not, I want to validate. For that reason, go to the toolbox and take the same compare validator. Right click properties. Under the properties, I have this time control to validate only directly. I would like to say for text box 5 and error message as invalid date. For this compare validator, few attributes are changed, few properties are changing. Control to validate, one thing, error message Later you have a property called as operator. For the operator property, you have to select the data type check. Later, for the one more, you have type. Operator is data type check, and the type is you have to go for date. So date type, right? And obviously, for better visibility, I would like to go for the fore color. Right. Fine. Let's now save and refresh the browser. Reload. Yes. Now I'm going and selecting a date in the. Okay, let me enter here. I'm selecting some date. So let's navigate and select a date. Right. After selecting a date here, I want to change here. Put it. Right. Clicking on submit. Invalidate. Because it's taking mmdd yy, but you don't have 14 months, right? Hence it is displaying invalid date. So this way we can validate the date. Later I would like to validate the mobile number. Coming to the mobile number, let's take the regular expression validator. So regular expression validator is used for mobile number validation as well as email ID also. Here I am saying invalid phone number. And here text box 6. Text box 6. For color red. You have a validation expression. Under the validation expression, you can say simple validation expression /d 10. Okay, /d stands for numeric, and 10 is 10-digit value. And save it. Go back to the browser, reload. Here I am entering a mobile number. Let's say C. +91, that's okay. It's saying invalid number, right? Because I'm giving a 12-digit number. If I'm giving 9-digit number also, it's saying invalid. Right. This way we can validate. I want also to validate the email ID. Let's go back. Go to the email ID here. Take a again regular expression validator, but this time the irregular expression will change. Validation expression. Invalid email ID. Control to validate is text box 7. Validation expression. Validation expression is internet email address. The predefined validation expression you can see here, right? So you need not remember. And for color, red. Let's now run and see. Save it, go back to the browser, reload. Yes. Okay. Here I am I am entering the email ID. Mruthyun at the rate Gmail. I have forgotten.com. Okay. Subject. Saying invalid email. It's valid, right? So likewise we can perform the validations for my web page. But if you come to, we have one more validation control. Custom validation control. Okay. This is your job to explore custom validator. Please explore yourself. And I would like to take a range validator. Here I would like to take one extra field, age, in my design. And I would like to take a text box. Later a button. Text box, that's enough. And I would like to take a range validator from the validations tab. Range. Right click, go to its properties. Age should be between 18 and 40. 18 and 40. And I would like to go for control to validate and select the text box 8. And, for color, red. That's it. But you have a range, right? Range of values. For the range of values, minimum value and maximum value you have to provide for the range validator. These are the extra properties only for range validator. So minimum value I would like to provide 18 and maximum value is 40. So let's go ahead, run it. Here I am giving the age as 12, clicking on submit. See, age should be between 18 and 40. If I am giving 18, submit, no error, right? And coming to the validation summary. If you can go to the validation summary, I would like to display all the validation summary at the below of the page. Let's go to the toolbox and take the validation summary. The beauty behind the validation summary is all the error messages can be displayed at one place. So I'm taking this validation summary. Right click, go to its properties. Only one property I would like to change, which is for color. You have nothing to change here. But listen. But when you go to your validation, every individual validations control, and give the text property here. Give the text property as star. What happens? The error message is suppressed with the error message is suppressed with the text property in the design. You can see here immediately the change. Here also. The next validation summary, validation control. So right click, properties. I'm giving the text property as star. So whenever you give text property as star, the error message is suppressed with the text property, and the error message will be displayed in the validation summary. Error message will be displayed in the validation summary. Right click, go to its properties, star. Right click, go to its properties, star. Properties, star. Properties, So this way I can, let me consist the design. Fine. Okay, now let's run and see. Finally, if I'm not entering any username and entering a mismatched password and entering a invalid date, entering a invalid date, and entering a invalid mobile number, invalid email ID, and invalid age, and clicking on submit, what's happening? You can see validation summary getting displayed with all the fields, right? This way we can work with the validation controls in ASP document. I would like to stop the session here, and if you have any doubts you can please go ahead.